Hi everyone, I am Tongyang for Kochi. Today is Saturday, July 20th. I am going to talk about the questions in Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. After reading Chapter 9, my first takeaway is the Bechdel test. It's a test consists of 4 questions to determine gender representation of a movie. And the 4 questions are, does the movie have at least 2 women in it? And do they ever talk to each other? And is that conversation about something besides a man? And the last question is, do the women have names? So after considering those 4 questions and thinking of all the movies I have been watching the recent years, there are only 2 pop on top of my head, which is the Little Women and the Wonder Woman. So maybe there are more I just couldn't think of. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from you guys if you can think of any other movies that pass this test. But this also shows, just because there aren't many movies I can think off top of my head, I think it's because there's just still a lot of movies nowadays doesn't meet these standards. And I think this takeaway is valuable to me is just because it shows the ongoing gender imbalance in the media, and there are people still working relentlessly to improve and better the situation. So that's why I think it's really valuable. My other takeaway is the chapter talk about the history of feminist movement. The first one happened in 1920s. It fought for basic right, and the second one is focused on the gender equality in workplace, and the third one emphasized personal choice and empowerment. I think that just each one of them just influence how women are portrayed in media, and I think this one is valuable is because it helped me see how gender representation in media has evolved, and showing both the progress made and the challenges that still exist in achieving true equality for women in media. And talking about the work or personal experiences for gender equality, luckily I have never been treated equally just because of my gender growing up, so I can't think of too many my own experiences to share, but I can talk about what I've observed and what I've noticed just from my diverse perspective. And in my opinion, I think U.S. has done a much better job in gender equality in the workplace compared to almost all the Asian countries. But I feel this equality doesn't always extend to U.S. households. I think in this area, I think China seemed to do a better job in achieving gender equality at home, outside workplace. And also I've noticed that from when I'm talking to my American female friends or my other female coworkers at work, the way they put it, maybe they haven't noticed that, but the way they talk, it seems like they always put their husband one step above them. And I've also noticed that there are many American women, they're still busting their asses, taking care of the house chores, their older child, and keep the house running when they are pregnant with a younger one. So since only women can carry a baby, can get pregnant, right? So let's just say ideal gender equality, is it gonna be I think it should be women for the pregnancy, woman is carry the baby pregnant for half of the term, the pregnancy period, and the father take it over, carry the baby for the rest of the time before the baby is due, right? So I think that's the ideal gender equality, but unfortunately that's not how our body made. Women's body were made to pregnant with the baby for 9 months and endure all the body changes for that entire time. And I feel like to make it up for gender equality, maybe when woman is pregnant, let's say if both parties, the husband and wife, they're both working and both bring income back home, and maybe the house chore were evenly distributed before, all equal, but when the woman is pregnant, shouldn't the house chores or some other house responsibilities be redistributed? Let's say husband take more responsibilities and do the cleaning and cooking and more things, and just have the wife to, after work, have the wife go rest, just rest for 2 hours. Like you're having a tough day carrying like extra pounds on your tummy, right? I think if by doing so, that's just at least like as close as gender equality. Otherwise, but I still see there are so many American women, like they're still doing what they have been doing this whole time. Like it's not gonna, their chores, like their job does not change one bit. Their husband will not just take over some cleaning or some like chores from them just because they're pregnant. And my takeaway in chapter 10, the first one is the advertisement often use gender stereotypes to target specific demographics and reinforcing traditional gender roles and influencing customer behaviors. So I feel this concept shows how marketing perpetuate these stereotypes to appeal audience. And I think this one is valuable to me because what it discussed aligns with my thought. Even before I read this chapter, I've noticed there are so many commercials that are really, really gender stereotypical. And my second takeaway is very similar to the first one, is the impact of the gender stereotypes in advertising, how that influence customer behaviors by reinforcing traditional gender roles and limiting choices. Like in the textbook, it says, for instance, consumers are likely to still see a woman peddling cleaning products and mopping the kitchen floor or scrubbing range. So I think in this takeaway, by showing how perpetuate gender stereotype, and that will definitely impact on how customers perceive themselves. And women supposed to get a gift for a Dutch oven, they're supposed to get a gift for dishwasher. That's not always the case. And I think understanding this helps me to create inclusive marketing strategies that avoid harmful stereotype and promote diverse representation. Next question, the LGBTQ representation evolution. I think there has been a notable development in LGBTQ representation in recent years. Like even the people who didn't pay much attention to those group of people, they have heard of the term LGBTQ somehow from elsewhere, like different sort of medias. So, but I would say the challenges still remain, and continued advocacy for equitable representation are still needed. And the example, I don't believe I've watched any LGBTQ movies in 23 or 24. So I just went on Google and type in LGBTQ movies or TV series. The first one that popped up on Google is the movie called Down Low. And I watched some video clips and the trailers and got some general understandings of that movie. It's a dark comedy that released in 2023. This movie follows a guy named Gary, and he's a divorced man whose life just take an unexpected turn when he meets another guy named Cameron. He's a sex worker, and their encounter first started with really simple encounter, and then it quickly escalated to a wild night of adventure and just pushing Gary to confront his true self. And this movie, I think, is a really good movie, got high review. It's the movie involves like a lot of themes of query in identity, friendship, and self-discovery. And the impact of LGBTQ and portrays in recent years, I think they're all positive. At least most of them are positive. And from the movies I have seen in, let's say, past 5 years, I have seen a couple LGBTQ movies that all has been positive. They're just presenting the characters in the movie or TV series like all normal, just the same as us. They're having the facing the same struggles like with life, or figure out what they want and their true love, who their true love is, like facing the same problem that we all faced, and having the same struggles, like even though like we don't have the exactly the same struggle that for figure out sexual orientation or our gender problem, but we all have struggles to figure out who we really are, our true self, what really makes us happy, what's life really meant for us, and what's the true value of life. I feel like everyone's will have like the moment went down that journey to explore what their core value inside themselves and what they really want with their life. Everyone has been down that journey. Like the movie Down Low, Gary, like he's like exploring his true self, like who he really is, who he really love, and what his sexual orientation is. I think like we have all been in searching for those things in our life. So it's they're promoting those characters just as ordinary, that's positive. And the notable LGBTQ trends and media examples in 2024, I would say Pride Parade, even though that's the event, I know it has lasted for decades, but I still think the one that just happened last month in Des Moines, that's a notable and phenomenal event. It was huge this year. I know some people travel to Des Moines to attend this one, so I think that's still notable LGBTQ, even though that some events like has been going for years. This one is worth mentioning in just past June. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.